Hello, I'm Anna Hellman, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. In this video, I want to share with you how you can take simple designer print papers, black and white or other, and color them to create really beautiful cards. I know for me, a lot of time when I see my designer prints, I see them for what they are, and I don't really think about changing them so that I can use them in other ways. But as I'll share with you today, you can change your designer prints in so many ways to make beautiful cards like the ones shown here on the left. So what I'm using today is the Stampin' Up! True Love Designer Series paper. It comes with all these beautiful black and white prints. They are double-sided. So one side is more of a pattern geometric print, and then the other side has a floral on it. So I'm going to show you 6 different ways that you can color these papers and tailor them more to whatever you are trying to create. And as we do this, we will look at these cards up a little bit closer. So the first way I want to show you to add color to your designer paper is using watercolor pencils. So we have a couple of different packs of watercolor pencils. If you've never used them, I really encourage you to try them. But these are just a nice way to add some really pretty soft color to your project. So I'm going to use this floral print, and there are different ways to use your watercolor pencils, but I'm going to show you a really basic way here. And I like to start coloring really softly, especially if the pencil has much of a point on it. You want to be really gentle with that. You might even want to knock that point off so that you don't get harsh lines in it. But I like to color with a circular pattern. And then I am going to start pushing harder down here towards the center of the flower. I want it to be darker down there where all those shading lines are. So I'm going to color darker down there. And then if I want to, I can even just draw lines over top of these lines. So you can leave it as is that way. Or what I love to do is use my blender pen and come in and just go all over that to blend that color together. And this basically makes it look like it was hand painted with watercolors. Now that's fun. Or if you really want to get some deeper tones than what you're getting with that technique, you can use your blender pen right on the watercolor pencil tip, pick up more color and add it that way. So that is just a quick introduction to watercolor pencils and the blender pens if you haven't used them before. When you want to switch colors with your blender pens, you can just color on some scrap paper till the color is out of it, and then you can use that same blender pen tip on a different color. So that is one way to add color to your projects. Let me show you a sample of how I use this on these sample cards. So the background pieces we'll talk about in a few minutes, but this flower right here is one that I colored using the watercolor pencils and the blending brushes. So I think that's really pretty, like I said, really soft color. That looks nice on your projects. The second way you can add color to these designer prints is with your regular markers, your Stampin' Write markers. So we'll work on one of these leaves right here. So with these, they don't blend a lot, but they really just make it easy to add color to a certain area. If you want to come back in and add some deeper colored lines along some of those shadow lines, you can, but that is how you use your Stampin' Write markers. So here is a sample I've created. I don't actually have it on a card, but it's one that I came in, I just kept it with blues and grays. So it had the diagonal print with the black and white, and I added navy, misty moonlight, seaside spray, and some gray using my Stampin' Write markers. For the third way you can add color to these prints is with possibly my favorite coloring tool, Stampin' Blends alcohol markers. So the way I love to use my alcohol markers is to first use whatever the lightest color I'm going to use is, and color all over the area I'm planning to color. Then I come in with my darker color, add those darker colors wherever I want them, and then come back with my light color again. And you can use a circular motion if you like, or you can use this feathering pattern, but basically just add some more of this lighter color and it will allow all of that to blend together. And when that dries, it is going to be absolutely gorgeous and perfectly blended. So I'll show you my sample of the one I used my blending markers on, and it's this one. And when I started this, I planned to color in that entire designer print, and I could do that, you could do that. But once I got to this stage, I actually really liked it. So I left it just the way it is and added a little bow and a greeting. Now the third way that I have that you can add color to your designer prints is to use blending brushes. Or if you don't have blending brushes, you can use sponges as well for the same basic idea. So bring in this striped print here, and I am going to add some gorgeous grape ink to it. So I'll pick up that ink, start on the edge, and get some of that extra ink off onto my scrap paper. And then as I go up, I'll press a little less, and the color runs out, so it gets a little bit lighter as I go up. But you can add, you can do this a lot of different ways. You can add solid color. You can add an ombre effect where it goes from darker to lighter. You can bring in another color and blend another color into that color. Such as this. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this. So my first sample is this one right here. And you already saw this. I did this one with the watercolor pencils, of course. But these prints in the background, I added just basically solid color across those. So that is one really easy example for how to do this. Then here is a slimline card I made where I actually blended the different colors together to give it this rainbow effect. So I love how this turned out. I think that turned out really neat. And then as for my fifth way you can add color is to bring in some masks or some stencils as well. So for this way, I used the blending brushes over a mask. I attached my paper to the back side of this mask, put a little bit of removable tape back here to hold everything in place, and then I just blended over that from the dark to the light and created this really cute birthday card. So that's a fun way. And then for the sixth way that I added color to some of these prints, it is with our Stampin' Spritzers. Have you ever used these? If you haven't, there are some fun ways to use them with ink, some of our ink mixed in with our ink refills. This is not the right color, but here's one of our ink refills here. So what I do, you mix a little bit of ink in here with, you can use water, or I prefer to use rubbing alcohol because it dries faster. So you can play around with it and get the desired color that you want as far as how much ink is mixed in, how dark or how light it is. And then you can, I suggest staying back about a foot and make sure your work surface is covered so that the overspray doesn't get on anything important. And then you can start spritzing away. So grab the card here that I made with this effect. And it's this one right here that had that floral print. And I just spritzed over a little bit and then added my greeting and a little bit of ribbon on top. So those are my samples. So next time you look at your designer papers, don't just see them for what they are, see them for what they can be as well. Hope this is something fun you can try out. I'll show you here the 3 stamp sets I used on these cards today in case you're interested. The So Sentimental, So Much Happy, and the right triangle I used on this rainbow card right here. So thanks so much for joining in today. You can find links to the products I used as well as more information on these projects using the link below in my video description. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and like and comment and share below. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time.